That's just for Joey.
Oh, wait, I don't know.
All right,
right.
are we ready? Is the light on? It is?
It is on.
Okay.
This is good.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order. Today is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. It is 9:01 a.m. All council members are present. Town manager, deputy town manager, town clerk, town attorney, and several of the staff members were here for our strategic planning meeting. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We only have one agenda item, and that's the strategic plan. Will, are you going to start us off, or Angela?
I think I am.
All right, go ahead, Angela.
Yes. So, good morning. Thank you all. Angela Christ, Director of the Florida Institute of Government at USF. First of all, we are delighted to be here. This is our second forum, Part B, or Part 2 of Forum 2. And most of you have been with us along the journey. Welcome. To those newly elected. Just want to briefly mention, even though most of you know who our team is. So obviously I'm Angela. Dr. Daly and Dr. Neely worked through phase 1 of the process with us, and Brittany, who's on my staff, all of the lovely documents she's helped create along the way. And then we have our partners with SPC Collaborative Labs. Tina is the co-facilitator today. You'll see Anne Marie over here. She'll be the one taking all the studious notes. PJ is right here. He is responsible for all of this amazing technology. So if we have issues, he'll take care of us. And then, of course, Jonathan. Nobody can top Jonathan with his amazing graphic skills. And so he will be doing a visual illustration of what occurs today. All right, so just very briefly, here's what our plan is. We're going to do a quick recap of what we've completed to date. We're going to revisit the vision, mission, core values, and guiding principles. We're going to look at the strategic themes. Again, these are draft goals and objectives with some of the timelines. We're going to look at prioritizing and evaluating. We have 5 to 7 on here. We'd really like to stick to 3 to 5, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the agenda as to why. And then Tina will be wrapping up with next steps and moving into the most important phase, which is the implementation phase. So just really quickly, we've put this slide on here in previous, but again, since there are some new individuals, we just wanted to share it with you. Again, our process that we've used along the way to get to this point has been a very participatory method, meaning we really tried to gather data and information from different stakeholder groups, including the employees, community forums, looking at existing documents and plans. We also did complete real-time records, which you have from every step of the way. And again, it was a process where we collected the data. Every time we collected data, we used that data for the next step of the process. And so it really was an iterative process. We tried to be as comprehensive as possible. And then obviously, if you go to your website and you go to strategic plan, all of these documents are available for you and the public.
Angela, just before you move on, just for those that may be just figuring out that this has been going on, when did we start this process, and about how many meetings do you think we've had?
Yes.
Both, just in the public and public. Oh, you already got it. You were way ahead of me.
I am.
I just wanted to make sure people understood this wasn't just a new thing that's just all of a sudden here, like the comprehensive plan.
No, this is not something new. We have been working on this since January of 2025. We held our first kickoff meeting, and you will see phase 1 of the project took us through this past November. And that included a town council kickoff that included stakeholder interviews, a resident survey, 2 community forums, an employee survey, and an employee focus group forum. So that was really phase 1, which is really kind of that data gathering, information gathering phase. Phase 2 is the design of the plan. Really, that's where we hone in and use all of that data to come up with language. And so you'll see here, we started that in December. And today, we'll be closing up with 2.4A. And then following that will be a draft, what we call a draft final report. And we are tentatively scheduled, I believe, for June 15th on the agenda to present that report to you. So that's really the design of the plan. And then phase 3 takes us into implementation. So we have done a significant amount of work, but again, phase 3 is really the critical piece as we move into that today.
Angela, a quick question. So if our residents want to get up to speed, because maybe they just dropped in now,
Yes.
they can get all this information from our website? It's all available, so I would
100%.
encourage them to go back and
Yes.
get yourself up to speed.
All they have to do is go to the website. There's a orange, I believe, at the top. It says strategic plan. You click on it, and all of this data and information is there.
Perfect.
Yes. So just really quickly, again, I just reiterating, going back to what we had said, again, thank you, Councilmember Link. Again, all of these documents, there are real-time records, there are reports. This is everything. If the public or anyone else is interested, please go to the website and take a look at those. So I just want to briefly, I want to touch base and say after the last leadership forum too, I will say that town leadership, Will and his team, have done an amazing job. So I want to just briefly explain to you kind of how we got to some of these recommendations. So Tina and I met with all of the leadership team, which you're calling the kids table, twice for about 3 to 4 hours each time. In addition to that, we had virtual meetings with the leadership team as it relates to each strategic theme. So there was a lot of work that went into it, not just those meetings, but behind the scenes, the leadership team also really had to do some wordsmithing. And so what we're about to go over is really a culmination of all of the data, all of the things we've done, plus their hard work over the past probably 6 weeks. So when we came together, if you recall, Leadership Forum 2, this was kind of your top idea for a vision. And so the staff's leadership team recommendation for the vision is as follows: an eclectic coastal community where you can safely live, prosper, and enjoy island life. The mission, their recommendation is as follows: the town of Fort Myers Beach serves and protects our coastal community by fostering safety, sustainability, and economic viability. Oh, excuse me, vitality, thank you. I can't see. So, and if you, thank you, no worries. And I had it right there in front of me. There is a piece of paper that you have that has all 3 of these together, along with the core values and guiding principles. If you'd like to follow along, just remember your vision, mission, core values, and guiding principles always all go together. They are not siloed, so please take a look as I'm going through. And then we will now move on to the core values and guiding principles. So ended up coming up with 6 core values: stewardship, accountability, mutual respect and civility, transparency, preservation, and resiliency. And you will see on the right the definitions. Those are the guiding principles. And just as a reminder, these are those non-negotiables. These are those behaviors that you as elected officials, that the staff, that the community, that the residents, that once these are adopted, this is how you would interact with one another. This is what you are kind of your principal foundation of those behaviors as it relates to communication and interaction. I'm not going to go through all of them. You are going to have a little bit of time later on to go in a little bit more in-depthly on some of these. Okay. With all that being said and done, you have ended up to this point with 5 strategic themes, 18 goals, and 44 objectives. That is lofty and big. So the 5 strategic themes are infrastructure, leadership, communications, community and economic development, and environmental sustainability. And we created this graphic, and I just want to touch base real quick, just kind of as a precedent. So it's really important that you understand that the foundation of your strategic plan is the vision, mission, core values, and guiding principles. That is the foundation. From that, you then have your strategic themes. So we chose these graphics, if you will, to represent each theme for specific reasons. And so if you look at the infrastructure graphic, what we heard a lot about from residents, right, was and you'll see it throughout here, transportation, waterways, and so hopefully that represents that. If you look at communications, really looking at the ways that you communicate with your residents, with each other, whether it be through town halls, whether it be through Facebook, your website, and then community and economic development. I found this graphic really interesting to me, just going through this process with you for the past probably 14, 15 months. The diamond to me was that you, the town is a diamond, right? And there is a lot of precious things that you guys treasure for the town, but there's also this need for investment and revitalization in certain areas. And so how do you balance that with your residents? And that's the picture of the house. So it was really, that's kind of how I came to that. And then obviously environmental sustainability, storm surge, wave mitigation, et cetera. But that's kind of where we're going with these. So I'm gonna, one thing before we get to this. So as we were going through and looking at the strategic themes and working on the goals and objectives, there really was kind of this overarching issue that kept coming up. And so we thought before we went through the goals and issues that it would be good just to talk a little bit about this so that it helps you when you begin to look at the goals and objectives, that you're looking at this through a little bit of a different lens. And so I think Joe's going to come up and just talk very quickly about the bridge loan and the status overview. Or you can stay there. You don't have to come up.
No, Angela, quick question. I know a lot of this was going on before there was any discussion of potentially alleviating homestead property taxes. Did you guys have any conversation in your leadership meeting? At the time, you probably didn't know this was coming. And I'm just curious how, what you've put in front of us, how that's going to potentially be affected to achieve these goals should that come down. I think it's pretty certain that something's going to come. We don't know what it's going to be, but how or will that have any effect on how the strategic plan could potentially be implemented?
100%. I think right now there's too many unknowns for all local governments. We're seeing it across the state. And so I think you're going to have to reassess and regroup. It's going to take some time. I mean, we could spend hours. I could tell you what I'm hearing out of Tallahassee. There definitely will be something. We just don't know what it's going to be. But I do believe there will be some studies and some other things that occur. hopefully before the impact hits you, but you will have to reassess where you are once you figure out how it impacts you financially. I mean, there's no other way around it. But the thing is, every other local government in the state of Florida will be experiencing the exact same thing. Not that that's helpful, but that's the reality.
And wouldn't you think that those kinds of things are always going to come up, whether it's government changes, how we get our money, or a hurricane comes? Our strategic plan should be our goal for how we get there. We may have to reprioritize on any given 6-month or year-to-year
Yes.
based on those unknowns that come to us.
You are 100% accurate. Your vision, mission, core values, guiding principles, and strategic
change.
themes should not change. That is still the direction you're headed. However, the prioritization of what you're working on and how you're doing it possibly could change
Yeah.
based on several factors. That's why when we started the process, and we have always said that our methodology is very fluid and flexible. It's not something that you leave and put on a shelf. And as we get into it, Tina talks a little bit about the implementation plan, and that phase, you'll see that. Okay, Joe?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Joe Wanzik, Finance Director. The slide that is displayed for you with the bridge loan status overview is basically just to convey, the simple idea that we do have the bridge loan to contend with, and that is kind of always behind the scenes until it is repaid. So this just gives you a snapshot of where we are with it. We have borrowed a total of $11.9 million. We've used or are planning to use $9.7 million, which leaves about $2.2 million left that's still available to be used in the future. So far, we've received $7.6 million of state revenue replacement grant that we are holding to repay on the side. It's in its own fund to repay the bridge loan with, should we need to repay it. We've also accumulated almost $1.2 million of interest in that same fund that we're holding to repay the bridge loan. So that leaves about $3.2 million that we are still need to find a funding source somehow, either by not using the $2.2 million that's left of the bridge loan, which could then go towards repayment, which would leave us with about $1 million of funding that's still required to repay the bridge loan. But we have, the due date, let me just make sure I have that. Oh, I thought I had that with me. It's several years into the future. As soon as I find it, I'm sorry, what is it?
It's 2033, something.
Okay, we think it's 2033. I'm sorry, I thought it was in my notes. But basically, we have several years in order to raise that other million. I mean, some of it would be accumulated just by interest itself. But the point of this whole slide is that until we repay the bridge loan, we are subject to the restrictions of the bridge loan. And that is what is really limiting our what we can do in terms of strategic plan initiatives for capital improvements. We are not allowed to use any of our non-ad valorem general fund revenues. So anything that's coming into the general fund, aside from property tax, is pledged in repayment of the bridge loan after deducting our essential operating expenses. So we're not allowed to start up any new programs. We're not allowed to use our non-ad valorem revenue to start up any new programs, to fund any capital improvements until the bridge loan is paid. We're also not allowed to pledge any of these revenues for any type of debt that we may consider, like, for example, issuing bonds. They would have to be paid by another source other than non-ad valorem revenues. But what that limits us to is the use of funding. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, it's on the back. Oh, okay, thank you. I didn't realize it was on the back. So we can use grants for capital improvement. We can use restricted revenues such as park impact fees, road impact fees, gas tax for capital improvements. We can use the savings that were set aside for capital replacement. It was a replacement plan that was put together prior to Hurricane Ian, that we set aside an actual few $1 million in total for replacing our assets over time. That is also on the side and is available to replace our assets as it was intended to be used. And then we also have, of course, our utility funds, stormwater and water. Those are separate. It has nothing to do with repaying the bridge loan and any capital improvements related to water, stormwater that can be funded through their revenues, and loans based on their revenue stream for repayment are certainly allowable. But so we're restricted in what we can do in terms of infrastructure improvements to those revenues.
So again, going back to Councilor Link's, I guess, statement and question, this is a great example as to when you're looking at your strategic plan. That's something that you have to consider as you're going through looking at your prioritization of the goals and objectives going forward. And so being fluid and flexible, if you get this paid off sooner, that may shift your focus in 3 years. And so I think that's, again, the point that we're not changing goals and objectives, but the priority in what you're working on and what you're able to accomplish, there are some things that are restricting you from moving forward with certain items. So we just wanted to kind of put that out there, make sure it was on the record, make sure that there is an understanding regarding that. Questions from any of the council regarding that?
We need a red bucket and a bell at the door. Put a couple dollars towards the bridge.
Okay, so very briefly, so we can move into your work. I just want to go through the 5 strategic themes. So you'll see here the first one is infrastructure. Again, each strategic theme has a definition. You do have a Word document in front of you that has all of these on there that will help you. And so the first one under infrastructure, the town of Fort Myers Beach maintains key infrastructure such as roads, lighting, water, and mobility to ensure community safety, quality of life, and economic stability. There's 3 goals under that related to infrastructure systems, mobility options, and well-lit and safe town-owned streets and sidewalks. The second one is leadership, and the definition for that one is the town of Fort Myers Beach focuses on attracting, recruiting, and retaining talent, investing in professional development, and providing opportunities for data-driven decisions. Underneath this strategic theme, we have 4 goals. And so looking at recruitment, retention, succession planning, workforce development, and organizational effectiveness. The third strategic theme is communications. And the definition for that is the town of Fort Myers Beach prides itself on consistently informing the community about safety, services, and opportunities while fostering trust. There are 4 goals under this, 4 goals under this theme related to being responsive and inclusive as it relates to communication and leadership, expanding your community engagement, having a connected internal communication system, and then obviously very dear to everyone's heart is your emergency management services and communications related to that. Your 4th strategic theme is community and economic development, and that definition is the town of Fort Myers Beach promotes responsible growth by integrating community building, economic strategies, and sustainable environmental factors. Underneath this theme, there are also 4 goals, and so focused on economic growth, looking at business development, tourism, having an effective short-term rental program, making sure that redevelopment decisions are supportive for a thriving and resilient island community, and then stewardship of community assets. And then last but not least is strategic theme E, which is your environmental sustainability. And that definition is the town of Fort Myers Beach advances environmental sustainability by protecting coastal and natural resources, mitigating storm surge, enhancing resilience, securing grants, and implementing conservation programs. There are 3 goals under this as it relates to your shoreline and coastal resilience, your storm surge, and then canal and waterway management. So I just wanted to, for the record, briefly go over those. There is a handout. I'm going to turn it over to Tina because now we're going to put the work on you to go through all of these.
Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Tina Fisher. Good to see you. I wanted to pause for a minute and, Tracy, give you a moment to share the dashboard of Achieve It to talk about this. Do you want the mic?
Good, yeah. Good morning, everyone. Tracy Kohler, Deputy Town Manager. What we're passing out today is an example of Achieve It, which will be our strategic plan reporting platform. The handout encompasses kind of that landing page dashboard. Right now it looks rather underwhelming because we don't have any progress to put into the pie graphs. So right now they're all gray, they say not started, but once we pass the strategic plan and everyone starts working towards those goals and measurable metrics, those pie graphs will begin to fill up. There'll be colors towards started, on track, off track, and not started. So there will be that transparency both to the public of the overall plan and then the individual goals. And then internally, if you flip the page over, you're going to get some of those goals and objectives that we talk about today, so that it's pretty clear where we are on everything. And I just wanted to share that with you so that as we move forward, these will adjust depending on any wordsmithing that we do today and focus areas that you deem as the top priority. Those will be the ones that we focus on. So one of our advanced digital tools coming soon.
You know,
exciting.
you know, I'll tell you this, you showed me this morning, Tracy, and this is really cool, and I think, you know, you guys should pat yourselves on the back because you could actually have a percentage in one of these because this is good communication and this is good transparency. So technically there should be at least a 1% in there somewhere.
Yes, I love that. Before we get started with the goal prioritization, I first want to recognize the team sitting over here. They have worked so hard on these goals and objectives, and I just want to give them a round of applause because you guys are stellar. A lot of hard work went into creating these goals and objectives, and very responsive to feedback that we had, really talked about success metrics. So with that in mind, Angela is going to hand out the more detailed level, but we don't want you to dive too far into the success metrics because those we're still trying to iron out. We want to make sure that everything is measurable. So it's until you start digging into it during implementation, like, okay, we need to tweak this a little bit. That would be hard to measure. This would be, you know, better to measure. So just keep that in mind that the success metrics is a starting point, and we're definitely going to tweak those as we figure out how to collect this data, especially in the Achieve It tool. But we wanted you to have all the great work that the team has generated to this point. So that's going to help with that. I have one. Thank you. All right. So up on the screen, you'll see the reminder that there's 18 goals in the strategic plan. That, yes, we launch in phase 3. Super excited about that. So today, Our goal is to take a look at all 18 goals, and we're going to prioritize them to narrow it down to 3 to 5. So the process will be, for each of these themes, we're going to take them one by one and get the top 2. So theme A, infrastructure, has 3 goals. We're going to figure out which ones are the top 2. Then leadership, top 2. Communications, top 2, etc. So that gives us 10. So from that 10, then we'll further narrow it down to 3 to 5. Does that sound reasonable?
So just a quick question, you're talking about the goals, not the actual strategic themes?
Correct.
Those are in no particular order?
Right. So, well, the themes match your plan, A through E, and there's 3 goals under infrastructure, 4 under leadership, etc. So we're going to identify the top 2 from each theme.
I guess what I was trying to get at is, if we're going to prioritize the goals, do we have to prioritize the theme, the
No.
strategic theme? So that
No.
because they'll run concurrently.
They all run concurrently.
Got it.
They're all
Okay.
equally important. So, go ahead.
Tina, another question. So if we pick the top 2 or however many we're going to do, does that mean we're tossing out that other goal, or we're just putting it on the back burner? Because I'd hate to lose
It's not on the
all
back
that.
burner, right? It's not on the back burner. It's
Just
we
not
just want to make sure we
prioritized.
prioritize what is truly important to focus on, like the next 100 days, next 6 months.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
as you know, if the homestead comes through, you might have to do this reprioritization again. That's why the strategic plan, like Angela said, is so fluid.
Got it.
That's a great point. I really appreciate you bringing that up. Now, so one caveat, if you notice leadership, that's this group over here behind you, right? So I want them to have an opportunity to weigh in on the priorities for that one in particular. So I put a star there so you can see it. You will all rank all 5, but their team is definitely going to rank the top 2, because we want to see if you're in alignment with what they think should happen in with leadership, strategic theme, the top 2 goals, and what you do. I've done this with a number of cities, and they're usually in alignment, but I want to have that, it generates a healthy conversation for the leadership group. All right, so here's how it's going to work. We're going to complete this in 5 short rounds, 1 strategic theme at a time. You'll first review the goals, starting with infrastructure. There's 3 goals there. You're going to rate each goal in our system using your phone or tablet. We also have a couple of backup computers. It's really, we use it on our phones all the time. It's a really easy software to use, and our team tested it out. But if you would rather do it on a phone or on a computer, we have like 3 backups. So let us know. The criteria that we're going to rate each goal on are community impact from 1 to 4, financial sustainability, again 1 to 4, and doability, which is being able to get things done. So you're going to submit the ratings, and our system shows the top 2 goals. So it will show a mean of the top 2 goals. And we'll repeat the process for the other 4 themes. So I want to show you the rating software, and then I'll give you the QR code. So when you log into your phone, this is what you're going to see. And you see the first goal, robust, adaptable, and capable infrastructure systems. So you're going to answer these 3 questions for each goal. This one just has 3 goals. So you're going to answer these questions. What impact do you feel that this goal has on our community? You would choose 1, 2, 3, or 4. Low, moderately high, or high. And then you would go to financial sustainability. To what extent does this goal support long-term financial sustainability? And you'll notice the low, we put advancing this goal creates additional financial burden or is not feasible due to bridge loan. And at any time, if you have any question, please pause, and maybe Joe or Will or Tracy can answer some of these questions if you're like, hey, does this have a impact with the bridge loan? And then 4 is high, advancing this goal supports long-term financial sustainability and is feasible with the bridge loan. To what extent, and then the last one is doability, to what extent can this goal be realistically completed over the next 3 to 5 years? 1 is difficult, 2 is moderately difficult, 3 is moderately high, easy, right? And 4 is easy. All right, PJ, would you mind passing
I have a quick question, and please don't take this the wrong way. I'm trying to channel my inner Jim Adderholt here. This seems very in the weeds and complex to me. I mean, this is pretty straightforward what they laid out, at least to me. I don't know how my fellow council members feel, but either we agree with them or we don't agree with them. I think if we go down this path, we could be here till tomorrow talking
This-
about maybe you pick one, you pick two, I pick three, and then you're going to have a big discussion and you're going to come back to the same place where these are the top priorities laid out, 1, 2, 3, by staff who implement this every single day. To me, I think we're going to go down a rabbit hole here that we're going to be here for a long time.
It actually, the process goes really fast. So if you see on the screen, what it happens is you don't have to say what every person voted. You just go to the far right column and see the average, and the top two rise to the top. It's really quick. It takes 5 minutes to go through the rating system, but it gives everybody a chance to give input. Because if you just go through all 18 goals and say yes or no, then that actually generates more discussion than letting everybody look at it through the lens of impacts, financial, and doability. Yeah, let's test one.
Yeah, I guess sharing Dan's concern, but also I want to ensure that we're able to learn from each other during this process as opposed to just voting, because
Yes.
there's, and from each other, meaning from staff as well, because they've thought long and hard about this, and I would
Yes.
like to get their feedback. as
It's
well.
not a private voting. You are welcome at the table to say, "Hey, what are you thinking about community impact?" This is a discussion.
Yeah,
This
I-
is
I-
just
I
putting
think
it through a
If we
lens.
test
Yeah.
it by doing
Yeah.
the quick voting, that puts a ground level of perhaps, what came out in the wash, but then I'd really like to understand if somebody disagrees with it.
Yes,
what
yes.
they would think.
Yep. This is just, this rating system is quick and easy in the software, but it gives you a foundation to have that discussion.
Sounds
It
good.
gives you a starting point. Because you might get to, well, why did you choose 4 on that? Or why did you choose 1? If there's any outliers, it would be interesting to know. And you'll have that on your phone as well to see.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
You guys did a fantastic job. But I think one thing is missing, and maybe there's a reason for it, and that's the school. I don't see the school in our strategic plan. And I think it's absolutely necessary that if, given what's going to happen, that should be a big part of our strategic plan. Thoughts?
Well, I guess we'll vote on it through this app, and then we can have that discussion and see where that falls in under one of the 5 themes, but I don't disagree with you.
Infrastructure, perhaps? Roswell, maybe not.
Well,
Yeah.
your point is
Quality
it's
of
not
economic-
actually listed.
That's my point.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, maybe that falls under theme D,
So-
community.
So I
and
guess
economic.
my question then
Nicola is
is,
gonna answer.
if we feel that needs to be added, do we add it and where?
Yeah, I think it was definitely discussed. I'll want to clarify that. We definitely
Oh, I'm sure it
discussed
was.
it, but it's still an unknown. I mean, I feel very passionately about it, I know a lot of us do, and but it's still kind of an unknown on whether or not we will be able to proceed. I think we're getting pretty close. So I would like to hear from the council. I'm happy to add something like that into one of our goals, or objectives, if you will, an objective within one of the goals.
Maybe even
And maybe
community development.
where that might fit.
So
based on your
another
thing.
question I have is, so I know this is a living, breathing document. We've all agreed since day one that we don't want to stick this on a shelf and not see it. So if something big like this comes up, like the school, are we going to be able to add things, and who knows what's going to come up next, right? So are we going to have the adaptability to add things like that in the future? Is that once a year, or what's the process for that?
So during phase 3, when we launched the implementation plan, that's one of the things we discuss, is not only how often you're going to review the plan, how the information will be relayed, but also how are you going to incorporate changes to it.
And so I just want to go back to the school for a second and just comment. I think the one thing to remember is that this is the town's strategic plan, and so how you put in that goal or objective as it relates to the school is critical, because there are certain things that you don't have control over as it relates to that. And so that's one of the reasons it wasn't in there, but I think the way we word it and put it in there would be critical, but I just want to reiterate that, that this is the town's strategic plan, and whether it's a partnership or it's, working with the school district, school board, whomever. So I just want to put a pin in that.
Yeah, I think, Scott, this to me falls in that same bucket as the homestead property tax. The unknown is still out there, but I think it's good getting it on record that it's a priority. Potentially, we'll discuss it, but I think it's a priority for council, as well as figuring out a path should the homestead property tax change. And to your point, as long as we can adapt it later and move it, I think you asked about that, Rebecca.
Right?
Yeah,
Then-
because it's going to have, it may result in some economic pressure, so I think it's going to change different goals we have, right?
So I to add to both of your things, so I would see that as, I'm looking at community and economic development. Just for a quick
Yeah.
second, I'm going to dive down. And we're talking about objective, how I would put the school. Under D13, identify and pursue opportunities to expand year-round tourism offerings, diversify visitor experience, and increase tourism-generated revenues. So maybe somewhere in there, it's like we need a community that supports out of season. Maybe we tweak one of those. Because I would see then, if we can do a school, it becomes a task that then has deliverables.
Yeah,
Who
it's an
owns
action
it?
item.
Who's driving it? This goal should never, this objective shouldn't change. The tasks underneath it are, though, and I think as we sit down in council meetings, when we're looking at big things, we should, if we really want to make this work worth our while, which I support 100%, we'll start knowing this thing inside and out, because we'll say, where does this task fit?
Yep.
Oh, it doesn't fit in here. So maybe it's just someone's pet project, and that's not in alignment with our goals and objectives. So we're not making a task out of it.
Well, I would suggest that it actually is not really tourism-driven, it's
Yeah.
resident-driven, so it should be
Right,
under
so maybe
support
it
of
gets-
redevelopment
I think
decisions for D3.
let's not get ahead of these guys,
Yeah.
because I agree with you where it should be, but maybe not in that specific
Right,
objective.
right.
So when we get to that one, let's cover it
Got
there,
it.
because I think, to your point, that makes the most sense
Yep.
of the theme it should be in, but I just don't want to get ahead of these guys, and then we're jumping back and forth trying to.
Yeah, so what I really appreciate what y'all are saying is, yeah, let's take a first glance. And this was developed with a lot of thought put into it, but you're the second set of eyes to say what's missing. And it's true, the school would be an action item. Maybe it could be tweaked in that objective, but maybe it needs to be a new objective, and we don't have to wordsmith that today.
True.
But that feedback is what's going to be built in for when we do the final report to you. So we'll say, hey, we took this feedback that you said, oh, I think this is missing, and they might add another objective or tweak one.
Yeah, I agree, because that school is going to be tied into economic development. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to have these resorts coming in, and the way to attract good people, not only that live just off
That
island,
could be a
but
whole nother M&P
To-
meeting just
yeah.
about where to put it and how
Yeah.
to get there and all that good
but
stuff.
I think it ties into our economic development for sure.
All right. Thank you. That's a great point, and I'm glad that you saw that. And keep that lens open to see if there's anything else glaringly that you feel should be in the strategic plan, because it's noted in our real-time record now, and that's something that our team will take back and take a look at the objectives.
Tina, I have a high-level question for you and/or Nancy. She may be on a call. Will can probably answer it. So we're so used to looking at ordinances and resolutions, and we kind of have to live with them, and then go through a big review to tweak them. This does not fall in that category. Is that correct? At any time, I mean, we will look at it on a, annual basis or whatever, but any time the council, the community, whatever, we could shift these things, right? This is not like an ordinance that we're putting in place and can never change. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you can shift your priorities, but going back to the comment you made a few minutes ago, your themes, goals, and objectives should
Should not
remain the same, but the action items, the tasks, and what you prioritize, absolutely.
Always fluid.
Yes.
And I just add, it's like we're doing now, we do that in as public a forum as we can, because we're addressing not just internal like goals and objectives, but ones that the public has shared with us that they want
Right.
us to address, our residents. So if we do make those shifts, that we do it as transparent as possible.
We're all in alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. All right, so let's give it a try. PJ, would you pass out not the Team 2 QR codes, but just the top paper? Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to be a Meisner here, but I really want to know, we live in a world now where everything's digital, right? And we're going to be going through this exercise. And we talk about transparency. Not saying that would happen, but how are we going to handle this should somebody request a public information request
I'm so
on how
glad
each
you-
person brought up or how they voted?
I'm so glad you asked. We provide them with the raw data that shows your voting.
Okay, so we'll be available.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Great. I love the focus on transparency. Yes. Tracy has your
She's
back.
got our back.
I had no
And Nancy's back.
Yes. Okay. So the QR code is at the bottom of your handout. If you would prefer to have a laptop, let me know.
And I just want to make one comment, and that is, so as you're going through doing this, this is the worksheet that gives you more of the detail that should help you in your decision making. So it's not just the goals and objectives, but kind of looking through the timeline, anticipated timeline, and the proposed success metrics. So.
I'd put your first and, I would enter your first and last name when you enter, especially if you're John.
I just saw you enter.
I'm good, thank you. Can we ask that, the finance, Joe? Gives us a head up before we look into anyone, this is impacted by the thing, that we don't have to ask them every
Yes.
time, just before we go into it. Is our bridge
So,
done?
Will, the question is, that's okay. If there is any goals or that are impacted
it's this one.
by the bridge loan, to give them a heads up.
Okay.
Would you know that necessarily as we go through these? Because I don't know that I would. Dan, you probably would.
I would be willing to bet Joe would know because it's very specific what you can use that money for.
Right, right. I'm sure Joe does. I didn't know if he stepped out, if you'd know them, or Will would be able to speak to it.
I think between Will and I, we could cover the
I think
majority
for
of it.
now, yeah, we'll do it. And Joe's available, just by a quick reach out if we need him.
Good. I'm light on that side, Dan, so I need some help.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
pretty specific.
Okay.
Just basically the bridge loan is day-to-day operational stuff. You can't use it any commercial, you can't use
For
it on.
anything else?
Pretty
No
much,
capital
yeah.
stuff. Okay. Got ya.
All right, so the first goal you see is A1, and you would rate them 1 through 4 for each of the categories. Then you select next, and it'll take you to the next goal. It's kind of cut off. Oh, the table.
Are we going through all the goals at once and this?
Just on infrastructure?
Yep, so rate
Tina,
all
just
three.
infrastructure.
Yeah, that's the only
Okay.
one you'll see as infrastructure. So select your ratings, click next, go through all 3 goals, and then you select the check mark, which will submit it.
Where's the next, I'm sorry?
On the bottom right, middle right, kind of.
Oh, scroll, I'm scrolling. Got it, thank you.
You got it? Yeah. Can you get him back on round 1, please? In the booth, he's on round 5. He needs to be on round 1. Yeah. Yeah, we're on round 1.
You got a scrivener's error,
Right there.
goal A3. I'm guessing that's supposed to mean
Oh, yeah.
Scribblers there.
John, that's your job. Get that out.
Is that Scribblers there?
He's our, yeah,
No,
he's our editor.
This is the admin. All right, looks like 2 people have rated completely.
No pressure.
No pressure. We have time.
So we're just doing these 3 then, or?
Yep,
going on?
just those three, and we'll figure out what the top two are and have a discussion. No pressure.
Just go charge my phone this morning, huh?
Do you need a charger? Okay.
And again, this is adding another step. You just mentioned we're going to go through what we just voted on. If we're having the discussion, why couldn't we as a group decide verbally? Because right now, people that are watching are wondering what the heck's going on, as opposed to having an open discussion about this is important more than this. To me, this just seems like an extended exercise that we don't need to do. But if everyone else is comfortable continuing to do it, that's fine. But I think
Yeah.
we're going to discuss it anyway. So why
I
are
think
we?
this might streamline our discussion.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah, because if we all agree,
then it's easy, yeah.
How many ratings are in? Three? Okay.
let's try it.
Yeah. We'll be calling you Jim.
We just did.
Don't be an adderhole.
Don't be a knucklehead.
That was a good one. Oh,
All right, did y'all do all three goals and hit the check
yeah.
mark
Oh, yeah.
to hit submit? Make sure you hit the check mark at the bottom of the screen. And it'll say, yep, and then you hit submit,
Yeah, oh, that's it, the check mark.
check mark. All right, we have three so far. Yep, you got it. That's it. You got it. You're in.
Or you could have said, don't be an
John, you left the session.
Try it again.
That's because I didn't know if I did the check mark or not. I went next, but
A. Yeah, but it's not all the way at the bottom, that's what I had done too, I missed that.
Where are you seeing the,
well, now I'm thoroughly confused. Did mine count or not?
I was already
It
checked.
did not if you didn't hit the check mark.
All right. Am I blue?
Am I submitted?
It is blue. Yeah.
It's blue, okay.
Yeah.
Guys, hit it again.
With just these three? It's not very,
Do you want to use it on a computer?
I'm not sure it'd be any better on the computer. No, let's see. I just think, I finished these three, you want me to hit a check mark, it should have been right after that, not below the next goal, A3. No. Well, I hit next, it went to the next section. There was no,
Well, I can't control Sean's phone.
I know you're like Chris, you need to touch things. I just did it. Wow, there's the teacher in you. And wife, I might add. Then,
Jonathan's relatable.
okay, so then,
I like your dolphin.
I hit next, it went to the next screen, to the next series.
You don't see the dog.
Do you know
on
all
it.
our dolphins have names
Hit
back there?
next.
I have no idea,
We got this lady that
And now
knows them all.
A2, or is that A3? Yep,
Different names.
A3. And then you need
There's
to rate
Chubb.
those.
I thought they called
Barney.
those first three.
Huh?
Yep, so that's A1. This
No,
is
she knows
A2,
how-
you need
she's
to do
not by
A2,
name, but
and then
she's
you do
got-
A3.
You know, there's ways to
Yeah.
attract them,
You do all three goals.
But you're not supposed to.
but you're not supposed to. Yeah, back in the back at old school, they used to put forks and drag the forks and they'd spin them. You would create a fish in distress, so the dolphins.
Wow.
It's
John
totally illegal.
King. John Aldrich. John
You know?
R.
Hmm?
Period
You know?
King.
No, I had no idea.
Not yet, because he's logged in.
Back in the day, all those boats. Hey, look how
Okay, it
I
should say
just love
5
them in
now.
my
Does
wake,
it say
but then all of a
5?
sudden I'm hearing that you're
Okay,
actually
great.
not supposed to.
Let's go
enjoy
ahead
them
and-
you're, like,
Show the
Look on the
results and do it. Yes. All right, go ahead and turn it on. Close. Okay. So it looks like overwhelmingly goal A3. It should say well lit. I'm not sure why I mistyped it, well lit. Well lit and safe town-owned streets and sidewalks, followed by the other goal, robust, adaptable, and capable infrastructure systems. So those would be the two that would move forward as far as starting to prioritize the top 3 to 5. Any discussion? I want to pause here.
Sure, and I'll start. And this is, the reason I think this is backwards is because the streetlights are almost completed.
Yeah.
So why should that be on the top?
I think it's overweighting doability is what's happening.
Yeah.
In my mind.
I think those two are flip-flopped, but that's, I mean,
Then it'd be nice because we'd have a check. Success.
yeah, but that's like cheating on a test. We already know.
We already accomplished
We
most
already
of that.
accomplished that goal, or it's almost complete. That's been a goal that's been 7 years in the making. So to me, that's completely backwards.
I don't disagree, Dan.
I think that goes to the bottom and everything shifts up. Which aligns with what the staff, I think, has in here. But that's my 2 cents. I think that what staff has on this piece of paper is perfectly aligned.
1, 2, and
1, 2,
3.
and 3, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes don't you want to hit the low-hanging fruit first?
If you want to take the easier out, sure, but
But if we're almost done with it, let's get it over with.
should it be a goal if the goal's already been achieved?
I wouldn't
it's
go
gonna
as
always be
far
an
as the goal's been
ongoing
achieved, especially if in some areas of downtown, I don't think it's been achieved yet.
Well,
But we're way,
Yeah, I mean, we're
I
at
concur
the-
that
yeah.
we're way.
Yeah, we're close to
Down the
retirement
road.
on that one.
Are achieved, but there may be more tasks added in time.
I honestly feel like the way that they are ranked, quite frankly, is community impact is ranked 1, 2, and 3, which is in the correct order that was presented to us. And I think it's
close,
being,
yeah.
or close, but it's being skewed. When you look at the difference in the doability score, it's being skewed more towards the already almost accomplished goal. And I'm not sure that that's very much of a stretch achievement, if you will.
If I may add, hold on, let me make sure I'm on. Okay. So if we look at page 4 of the details here, take a look at goal A3 and the objectives. So it's not just the town-wide lighting, that's objective A31. Objective A32 is formalize and establish relationship with Florida Power and Light to ensure an ongoing maintenance and replacement of streetlights as needed. And then A33 is determine the best communications method, educational tool for citizen reporting of issues, utilizing new town software platform. So all of this is encompassed under this goal.
But again, A32 is already in the contract for a 10-year maintenance plan. That goal has been achieved. It's already done. Now, if we're talking 10 years from now, we want to further that makes sense. But a lot of the lighting stuff has already been achieved. I mean, I see that as a goal that is maybe 80 to 90% done. That
Right, and I still see it as well, that there's tasks under there, which you spearheaded and championed, task done, 99% done. But I think there's additional tasks under this big objective. If you go to the FPL site, there are so many great things for homeowners to use. I do them. There's an outage, you know, and you can see, maybe we're linking some of our residents into seeing some of that from our own site. So I think that goal is like, this is important to us. It will always be an objective. We may add tasks or not, but
and Rebecca, I don't disagree with you, but let me ask it to you this way. What you just laid out with FPL and the lighting project that is
Right.
almost completed, do you find that as a higher goal that we should strive to achieve over having a complete mapped assessment of our storm drains? Do you think an 80% completed goal takes precedent over having a completed map, which we're nowhere close to?
no, but the statistics weight it that way because of how I voted on everything. So it comes out that way because it is a low hanging fruit.
I
that will
understand the
be gone.
statistics and how they work,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying I don't agree with the statistical way that this is playing out, to
Right.
John's point.
So yeah.
If I can add, if we can add just a staff perspective, hold on for this, like, it's not, there's more to, like, if, you know, A3-1, Jeff can talk to town-wide perspectives. Yes, the first priority was the FPL. It is nearing completion, but there are others. Go ahead, Jeff.
All right, Jeff Hauge, Community Services Director. Yeah, and Dan, to your point, yes, the FPL project's almost done, but we have a lot of areas in the town that still aren't well lit for public safety. OSC being one, the parks being the other. I think we still have opportunity to make it safe for the residents with lighting. So just, that's my 2 cents, is that the FPL project wasn't the only thought in that. It was the town-wide safety for, you know, parking lots, sidewalks, you know, those kind of things.
And again, I want to say, I don't disagree with this being one of the objectives. I guess what I'm asking staff then is what you said, then why do you have it ranked the way that you have it ranked? Or do you think having the well-lit areas that aren't lit take precedent over?
No, there's
that?
no priority order.
We
It's
didn't-
not, it's
In our
not.
discussion, they weren't ranked, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just how they came out.
Well, but
Yeah.
it sounds like we're being asked to funnel of the 3 objectives down to potentially 2.
Yes.
And if you had to choose as staff as to one of these that is still an objective, but not necessarily a formal objective that we're trying to narrow it down to, which one of these do you feel is the least important? Or not least important, but is either ongoing, what do you think we have to put more energy into now?
What are the major concerns of the residents? It's traffic and stormwater. Those are the 2 things that continue to come up. I get
And safe-
well-lit
and public- and
and
safe,
well-lit
yeah.
streets, but that is mostly complete, or at least has a plan.
No, several tasks are complete. Some haven't started.
Some of them haven't, but there has been definite progress on them.
So I have a question for the leadership team and Will. If you were going to rank these, which 2 would you choose and why?
Good one. Yeah, that's good.
I just assumed that, maybe that was a bad thing to do, but I just assumed that A1, A2, A3 was in the list of
No, that's not.
how
what
they
we're
wanted to.
today.
No, it's
I didn't
random
assume
order.
that, but I did assume that this is absolutely skewing the results. It's the doability
Yeah,
portion.
I agree.
It's not, it's just looking through it in 3 different lenses: community impact, financial sustainability,
But they're
doability.
equally weighted.
Right.
Which is, I think,
But that's the whole point. So when you're doing this type of.
Can't hear you, gotta.
Oh, sorry. So that's exactly the point. So when you're doing this type of exercise, you would be looking and you would want whatever's in the top right quadrant, you would want, that's the low-hanging
That's the
fruit.
goal.
What I just heard someone say. That's the low-hanging fruit. If something is harder to do, you may not want to choose that right now because there are other things other tasks that have to happen that have to be put in place to be able to do it. So the reason for doing this is that there's 3 things that impact or that determine how well you are successful. Does it have a community impact? Is there some financial sustainability? And how easy is it to get done? So if you look at this right here, number 1, goal 8.3, okay? In the top right quadrant, you're saying, okay, that's something, to your point, right? That's something that's kind of low-hanging fruit. We're doing it, but there's a lot of other action items that need to occur, a lot of other objectives that still need to happen. But then you can see, which is interesting, the infrastructure systems is in the lower right section. So while the community impact is really, really high, it's very difficult to do. Right?
So is this is where it gets a little frustrating for me. Are we a goal is not meant to be easily achievable. To me, if you're setting a goal that you already know you're going to achieve, or is 80% already achieved, is that really still a goal? I mean, if your goal is to get to 100%, are any of these really going to be 100%? To me, I think it's more important to know what has more impact on the community, and what. I mean, maybe I'm not making sense, but to me, having storm drains clean and know how they operate, where they're at, to me, that is far more important than accessibility that we already kind of have.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Mayor, it's
Yeah.
actually exactly what we were gonna, what we came up with too in our discussion, 312. Like the council came out with here, what's on the board. They're all important. And, you know, we hear a lot, not just during the sessions leading up to this, but day to day, what's important to the residents, as far as infrastructure, when it comes to our stormwater drains, when it comes to lighting, when it comes to any other infrastructure needs. But also, there's been a long time desire for kind of like a multimodal, system around to get around the island better and not, and not have to drive. That may be not as feasible to achieve as some of the other goals in here, but still something that we are trying to achieve, if that helps.
Well, that brings me to the next, and I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt here. I'm just trying to understand, if staff has laid out that these goals are important, why are we trying to funnel them in? If what's wrong with having a bigger or more robust?
That's a great question, because
opposed to trying
18
to-
goals, it's a 3 to 5 year strategic plan. So we want to have a few priorities so they know exactly what you want to see movement on, because they're going to continue moving on all the goals. They're all important, but you can't do everything all at once.
Okay, well,
So the timeline that we should be thinking about this versus when we revisit it, is it 1 year? Is it the next fiscal year? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? Because if it's 5
3.
years, we have a different view on it than if it's 2 years. If it's 2 years, then it's not something that we think we're going to be able to address, then it should be further down on the list. And I think that was,
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that once the bridge loan is resolved, that blue one goes right to the top, because
Yeah.
it's more
Yeah.
doable.
It's doable.
Correct.
But right now, it's just not, we've all agreed that it's, at this time, it's just, given budgetary constraints, it's just not 100%
and I'm not, I'm
doable.
not gonna stand in the way of progress, right? I certainly don't want to stand in the way of progress at this meeting,
But it's still number 2. It's still gonna be one of our
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, we are going to be doing, these guys are going to be doing multiple things simultaneously.
So we did see that A3 and A1 rose to the top for y'all, and leadership's in agreement. Can we move forward with these two and go to try the next one? Okay, so
To me, this is all backwards. My brain works completely different.
PJ, you have the QR
Don't.
code, so my mic is going in and out. PJ has a QR code for the leadership team. So
I think you're still correct what you're saying.
It's gonna change anyway.
all right, so we're going to go to leadership. Yeah, if you want to open it up. You all are going to have a different XLEAP session, so it's totally separate, but we're going to show them on both screens. All right, so leadership has 4 goals, and we're looking for the top 2.
Yeah, I'm still on leadership.
Still, I'm stuck in infrastructure. That doesn't let me go anywhere.
Oh, yeah, I did see up on the screen, Dan, it said you left the thing. Wonder why.
Tina, can you help me get back to leadership?
I'm in the wrong one again.
I tried over there on the,
Do I need to scan back in?
what'd you grab? The blue had,
I touched the website.
refreshed it.
Yeah.
There you go, thank you. That's a good one.
All right, so 4 goals, rate each and click next, and then at the end you'll click the check mark.
We're going beyond B1 then, or go through them all?
Yeah. B1 through B4.
Thank you.
So in this organizational effectiveness, it's a little different than here. So that's council, effectiveness of council, not staff. Is that correct?
Yeah, use the,
Right, but this one doesn't say council.
Oh, it says council
This
just
one does
because,
here.
for the software to make sure we're their leadership team, this is council.
Yeah, it has nothing.
I
to
got
do-
you.
nothing
So
to
it's
do,
not
yeah.
leadership of council. That's a
Correct.
good
Yes, thank you.
No, no, no.
understanding. Okay.
That's just saying
That's
this is
just
the
my
software-
dashboard.
Software for council.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you.
4 so far? Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and show the results for council. Actually, before you do, can we see how many, or can you go ahead and exit out of it real quick, and let's just see how many are doing for leadership going to that one. Did everybody hit the check mark? 8 so far? Okay, you're right. Okay, date. So we're back to council, and let's show the results. All right, we need a drum roll to see the results for council priorities for leadership. All right, so succession planning through organizational alignment was first, and then the second is organizational effectiveness. Interesting. Okay, so B1 and B4. So let's see in comparison. What the leadership team selected. It's about to. On this one right here. Okay, so on the left screen, they selected B4 as well, but they selected B3. So I want to give y'all an opportunity to share why B3 is so you rated higher than the other two. Because you actually have B1 as the fourth. Workforce development.
So for me, the reason why I know I personally rated this one higher,
Can you tell me your numbers in the order
Oh, no, I'm just talking about me personally. Our team ratings are here.
They're up there.
One of the reasons why I personally selected B3 wasn't because that the title is innate as to what it means, but when I looked at the description sheet, it talked about standardized performance evaluation framework, and I thought that was important, as well as establishing professional development goals for each person. So that's the reason why I happened to choose that, but I share the mic with anybody else.
Anybody else want to add?
Sure, I will, yeah. Kind of the same thing that Tracy just said. I think if you develop a good workforce, you're gonna have all these other outcomes come underneath them. So I think assessing the goals, having strategic goals for our workforce is good, and having annual work plans and budget outcomes. And with this system and Achieve It, we're really gonna get that in the metrics that we want. So it's gonna enhance, productivity, and hopefully, the morale.
Yeah, I recall in our discussions that the team is super excited about having the software to have the goals and objectives and being able to align the performance evaluations to the strategic plan. Do y'all have any comments on council of why you put B1 succession planning as number 1?
My guess is because of the past history of this island, there's never really been a succession plan. So my guess is that's probably why it scored as high as it did. Workforce development, to me, that goes without saying, but I understand why the staff, I would hope you'd want to develop your workforce, but I think my 2 cents is that's probably why that ranks so high, is because we haven't had it in the past.
I would also say that, excuse me, that because you are a pretty lean team, there isn't really a clear succession plan in place, because each one of you is kind of spearheading a pretty big portfolio, right? So,
The other thing I wanted just to point out on page 5, B1 succession planning, the first objective, conduct an organizational assessment of the town's workforce structure to validate operational best practices for success. The timeline is they're going to do it starting next year. So it's not that this one's going to be forgotten, the succession plan. They know how important that is. So that's why they wanted to do an assessment first and present that to y'all. Are you okay with moving forward organizational effectiveness and B3 workforce development?
honestly, I personally hadn't taken into account the automation and the software and tying that together. That wasn't part of my thought process, and I think that is important, and it's something that they are implementing, and it'll make them more effective across each of these dimensions to myself. So I'm happy to take their guidance on this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you guys live it and work it every single day. We're not here every day working with the staff like they are, they know what works in their realm of how they're building their team. So I would defer to their ranking. I'm fine with it. Scott?
I'd like to ask Talissa what her number one was.
Thank you, Scott. So for me, succession planning is the most critical. The past 3 years coming in after Ian, we really had to, be very flexible with our org structure to support the needs at the time. And so it's been a very unique progression. So I think now that we're stabilizing, it is so important that we assess our current org structure to ensure that it's best suits the current needs of the town, and then we want to continue to build that out and forecast for the future. Growth is such a driver for recruitment, especially with millennials and Gen Z. So being able to build out our career ladders and expand on our growth opportunities, one, it fuels our succession plan, but it also will assist us with recruitment and retainment.
Thank you.
John, any questions for staff?
What's the capital of North Dakota?
You're asking me or asking them?
Bismarck.
Who's ever willing to?
Everybody,
All
yeah.
right.
Ask and answer.
So we're all good with moving forward B4 and B3?
Tell them that very strategically.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
We're moving forward organizational effectiveness and workforce development as one of the top 10 that we're going to evaluate
So
again.
we're going to be 1, 4, 2, 3.
No.
No.
No,
Or what? what's
2,
it
4.
gonna-
4, 3, and then the other two are still going to be worked on, but we're just pulling out B4 and B3.
Oh, I got you.
So
we're gonna
from
be
the
4,
first
3, 2.
round, we pulled out A1 and A3, correct, PJ? A1 and A3, and this one, we're moving forward B3 and B4 into the top 10.
I think the person, to Scott's question, who probably has the most insight of anybody in this room is Talissa.
Yeah.
And we just dumped her number one choice, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that.
And I'm not good with
Which
that
was
either.
our
Number
number one
one,
choice. I mean, usually, in any corporation, the succession plan is just crucial.
Right.
I mean, workforce, they're all crucial, right? But, I
Yeah.
mean, given what we've gone through, her biggest challenge has been succession planning, and
Right. And if you don't have that, these other ones are just weak. Yeah.
So I would move to defer to Talissa's number one,
Okay.
personally, as a recommendation.
Which one would you get rid of in order to keep one?
Would you keep
So
organizational
would you keep-
effectiveness?
Again, I keep at, why do you have to get rid of anything?
Because we're just trying to pick two. That's
We're
all.
just-
So we
Well,
Not
can
getting
move
rid
on.
of any,
then let's say
we're
let's
still
rank them,
moving
but
forward.
when you say let's get rid of them,
No,
it
they're
sounds
ranked.
like they're going away.
They're not
I'm just
going
telling
away.
you what people are hearing out there.
We're
They're not going
prioritizing.
away, we're just re-ranking them.
Right,
Good clarification.
prioritizing. So you're in alignment with Talissa, B1 is moving forward. Now, the second one could be B4, organizational effectiveness, or it could be B3, workforce development.
I think whatever leadership's in it every day,
had
whatever
three.
whatever their second choice was, or whether their top choice behind succession planning, I think we should go for.
Was 3?
I think it was development.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 3.
Dan?
Well, their first choice was organizational effectiveness. Their second choice was workforce development.
I mean, I think the way that we have it ranked is, to me, my brain, that's, you have a succession plan, then you have to figure out, is that organizationally effective,
Yeah.
right? And then, if it's not, then you're gonna bring in and recruit people that will work into the organizational effectiveness based on your succession plan. To me, I think the way we have it ranked makes the most sense in my brain, but, and I think the first one aligns with what Talisa has, and to both your points, she's the one that has to kind of be that, what did you call it, the org? The orb?
The orb,
The orb?
yes. All right, that sounds good. So why don't we move forward B1 and B4? You're welcome. Thank you, Talissa. Okay. Now we're moving to the third round. Communications, there's 4 goals.
Make sure to use the worksheet. Look at the objectives, please.
Communications continues on to page 8.
I have to re-log in again. Excuse me.
Make sure when you get to the end that you select the check mark to submit. So far, we have 2 that have submitted. Oh, now we have 3. Now we have 4. All right. All right, we have all 5. So let's go ahead and show the averages. Look at that. You have a tie with C1 and C4. C1 is transparent, responsive, and inclusive communication and leadership, and C4 is emergency management services. Do you need any input from the leadership team? Are you comfortable with moving C1 and C4 forward?
I'd like to just get their feedback on 95%. The responsiveness to public inquiries being, I thought, something that was extremely important and something that you all have been working very hard about. So I'd like to just get a little bit more feedback. I actually rank that as one of my top ones, but I'd like to hear.
Oh, under
Staff.
C3?
Yes.
C3-1, mm-hmm.
How are you concerned that the statistic is too low?
No, I'm pleased with the progress that you're making, and I think its impact on the community and the way that the community views the town. I just think it's probably one of the key metrics that is is a comment that is often heard, and it's one that I know that you take very, very seriously and have been working diligently on.
Yeah, absolutely. Councilor McLean, I agree 100%. It was when I first got here, it was one of the first kind of directives and goals I gave to the staff was that we answer within 24 to 48 hours all the inquiries that come in, and that's definitely a goal, and we're going to maintain that no matter what. I mean, but it's super important because it affects so many things. It affects how the residents feel that they're being supported by the town staff, but it also helps, going back to our previous discussion, it helps with our overall organizational effectiveness. So, now there's ways we're going to work on expanding that, the ability for residents and so forth to reach out, provide feedback, things that Abigail and Tracy are working on. If Abby has anything to add, please.
Yeah, I would only say, that number is 95% and not 100% because, we're still discussing internally what a resident inquiry is. Is a Facebook comment a resident inquiry? Is a, disgruntled person at a meeting a resident inquiry? So I think once we establish SOPs around what an inquiry actually is, that number could be 100%. But, I would say we are very close to that 95% already, so it's incredibly feasible.
Yeah, that was my feedback. That's what I thought.
For me, John, C3 is kind of encompassed in C1 under the inclusive communication and leadership. I mean, inclusive to me would also include internal communication system. That's why I ranked that one as high as I did. And obviously expanded community engagement, that also falls into the transparent, responsive, and inclusive communication. So to me, I think 1 and 2 are the top. The way we have it ranked makes the most sense. And the fact that it's a tie should tell you a lot, right?
Yeah.
So that was my thinking in my selection, is that C3 and C2 were kind of encompassed into C1 in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Abby, just like Vice Mayor Safford asked to Lisa, I would ask you, do you mind sharing how you rank
Rebecca,
them?
they can't
Because,
they can't hear you when you turn around.
Yes, so I'm asking Abby, just like Vice Mayor Safford asked to Lisa, being your area, would you mind sharing how you rank these?
Yeah, I mean,
Personally?
I would completely agree with the tier that you guys came up with. And again, I think
4, 3, 2.
C2 is just last because, like the mayor said, it is encompassed in C1. Emergency management services is life or death. So I would even put that on par with goal 1, but day to day,
And they
I
did,
would say
yeah.
goal C1 is definitely a priority. So I agree with this ranking 100%.
Great, thanks, that feels
Okay.
good when we're in alignment.
Would y'all like to move to the next one, or do you need to take a quick break?
Keep moving.
All right, keep moving. All right,
you
moving to the
gotta
next
go.
one. Okay, next one is communication and economic development. Community and economic development, thank you. And it's 4 goals. Make sure to look at the worksheet with the objectives too, please. This one is a long one, kind of goes from page 9 to 11. Lots in here.
I find C4 very explosive. You know it. I knew it would blow up at some point. Thank you.
Versus the other one.
I agree.
How you doing, kids? Should be eating turkey about 3.
Okay, we have 3 in so far. Is he saying y'all are at the kids' table?
Might be implied.
All right, we have 4 in.
I want a dog sitting at my feet.
We're lucky we have a service dog at Collaborative Labs.
Oh, do you?
Very fortunate. All right, we got all 5, so let's see what the ratings
I
are.
have a service dog at their
I just
office.
moved my
I said, we
parents
should have
into
let
a
you bring
new
yours.
assisted living yesterday, the last 2 days, and they have therapy dogs that come in
Yeah,
every
that's-
Saturday.
Nice.
Wrong one. Yeah. I think the tablecloth is moving this, so let me, there we go. It's a moving tablecloth. All right, so it looks like D1, economic growth through business development and year-round tourism. And we have a tie for supportive redevelopment decisions for a thriving, resilient island community, and D4, stewardship of community assets. What questions do you have? What information do you need from leadership to help with your prioritization?
Well, let's ask Frankie.
Yeah, what staff's?
All right, Frankie's going to pipe in here.
Yes. Hey, hello. Frankie Kirkpatrick, Community Development Director. Sorry, we're just having a little internal discussion here. Obviously, the number one choice is the number one choice. You know, we don't exist as a community without having some sort of path to move forward, both on the residential side and as the commercial side. And then you throw on the cherry on top, which is tourism, right? We've been the cash cow to TDC for years and years, and we don't see the benefit of that. You know, the bed tax that gets collected does not come back to us. It stays in a big cookie jar somewhere else. Trying to get a bigger piece of that pie and make it work for the residents that put forth the effort and their tax dollars to make it happen should be a huge, huge objective moving forward. And the tie, yeah.
Yeah, just,
So that's yours? Is that yours?
No, that's yours.
no, that's ours.
That's
They
all,
only-
yeah.
they only
They
voted on
only
leadership.
participated in the leadership one.
So it's the,
I was just asking for his
Yeah.
opinion.
yeah, the,
I got-
the,
yeah, I thought they
the
went
short-term
this
rental piece, I know that's a hot topic, but, you know, obviously that's just a key. It's a piece, not a key, to make everything work. You know, it's not something that's driving this town. It's been a problem for years, and it's under the new software and management system that we have currently in place. After 1 full year of operation, I think we'll have better metrics to decide where it fits into the scheme of things. But I definitely think that we need to keep our eye on the prize, and that's redeveloping this town in a way that no matter what impacts us in the future, we have that bounce back ability to come back. And that's either through building stronger, more resilient structures in the community, which we are following FEMA's guidelines and the Florida Building Code, and also really promoting that for our business community as well as they build back.
You know, for me, this is just like the last one. D4 and D2 kind of roll into those top two. You know, stewardship of community assets, that rolls into that D3 and D2 to me rolls into the economic growth, business development, and year-round tourism. So those two kind of are encompassed, in my opinion, in the ones that we've selected.
Yeah, I would concur.
One thing that, as Angela was reviewing through the plan, if you take a look at page 11, objective D42, she was suggesting maybe the school would fit into that one, D42, on page 11. Yeah. So we'll make sure the action item of the school could fall into that one, so
So-
it's captured.
For me, I had, in my notes, I had the school comment under either D14, and you could potentially even take D14 and roll it into D13. That was what I thought you could do for,
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
so for me, I had, in my notes, that the school potentially could be in the D14, and that, to me, D14 could almost be rolled into D13.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Because if you were to put it in the D14, it says draft a Fort Myers Beach recovery and resiliency visioning plan
Yep.
supportive of townwide adaptive growth. To me, the school would be part of that adaptive growth. And then that whole section could go into identify and pursue opportunities to expand year-round tourism offerings, diversify visitor experience, increase tourism generated revenues. Maybe not so much, but to me, that's where I had the school parked, there, that discussion.
That makes
Which would
sense.
fall into
Yep.
our number one goal that we selected.
Perfect.
I think it could be, I mean, it can be in both, I think, because
Sure.
there's different goals, like for the one you're mentioning, Mr. Mayor, definitely part of our vision, our short and long-term vision is to reestablish that for the support of the community, but if in D42, we have to figure out how we're gonna fund it,
Right.
So we need to develop ways to acquire the funding to achieve that vision, so I think it fits in both.
I think
Yeah.
it does,
Yeah.
and we'll make a note of that and reference it.
The school fits in the two.
Can I ask a question of Frankie and Will? This may be too deep, but on D11, improved
Make a
permitting
note.
process through
School
user-friendly
D42.
software? Who owns that?
They're
Who
looking
owns
at
that
it,
process, Frankie?
D42
Is it the towns, or do we outsource it?
No,
We
so
kinda-
GovWell that we
Can you
currently
make a
purchased is the town. So once we are complete with that, which will be very short, it belongs to the town of Fort Myers Beach.
All
And it-
within
and
our
it-
control.
And it grows as we grow.
It's a beautiful
adaptive
thing.
as we adapt.
Nice, thanks.
I would like to say that it was our first AE or AI-based software.
Advanced digital tool?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm not hip with the acronyms as you kids are.
great. Okay, good, thanks. That helps me.
Gus, hopping on the bus, Gus?
Don't need to be coy,
I guess just to wrap this up, is council okay with the way we have it ranked 1 and 2? Yes? Object?
Yeah,
Agree.
I'm fine.
I'm good.
All right. Let's move on to environmental sustainability.
We got it. Okay, so they're agreeing that D.1 and goal D.3 are their top two.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Last one is environmental sustainability, 3 goals,
Yes.
round 5.
Big old fire. that lung transplant yet, did you, or?
Yeah, that's a good thing we have Smoky Man.
And vaping.
Dude, I was in Ireland last year. The amount of vape junk laying everywhere, it's obscene. It's obscene. They were taking like little bobcats and sweeping them up. Like in downtown area where the bars are, they would actually sweep them up, and then this bobcat would come and use all the batteries and disposables.
Mayor?
Is it that like they just use so many more disposable ones? Because
Yeah.
most people that vape here are using like
This disposable
reusable.
over there.
Wow.
It's going to think cigars.
Okay, it looks like we have 5.
Okay, thank you. You got 5? All right, let's show the results.
Interesting.
All right. Shoreline and coastal resilience, E1. E2, storm surge mitigation.
Again, for me, number 3 kind of wrapped into,
Excuse
into number 1. That's why I had it ranked the way that it's ranked.
Yeah, I had, I know cleaning up the canals is super important and getting them dredged, but given the fact that we didn't have a program in place, the doability is just not there. It's not short term. I mean, it's a must, right? But the doability right now, I think we kind of all saw that too.
I agree completely. I think it's a hard lift. It's going to be a challenge. Personally, I thought the storm surge and maintaining the FEMA ranking was more important than renourishing the beaches, personally. But as long as it ends up in the top 2, I'm okay, I guess. But that was my thought for it. It's more
Yeah.
about the storm surge and maintaining. We all know the impact, right?
Yeah, and again, even number 2, the storm surge mitigation, to me, that's coastal resilience. So they kind of all go
Well,
into
they
number 1.
certainly come together. If you took a mitigation wall, we're talking about shoreline protection as well as
Coastal, yeah.
storm surge mitigation. So.
John?
I misspelled.
Okay,
You said
everybody's in
lit,
agreement with
well-lit,
the
not well-lit.
staff. Do you have any heartburn on what you see there?
No, I mean, personally, I probably would have put storm surge mitigation at number 1, but I mean, it's in our top 2, so I'm satisfied.
Okay. All right, so the next, if you want to switch us over to the PowerPoint, and he's going to switch. So behind the scenes, PJ has taken the top 2 from each of the 5 strategic themes and put them into a poll. And we want you to select your top 3. Let's go through here. All right, so on the back side of your handout, on the back side of this handout right here, and I put it on the handout, it looks like this one, right? That, yeah.
So it's another QR.
Yeah, just for y'all,
Got
just
it.
for y'all,
Got
so
it.
it's not
Okay.
public.
So we escape out of the other one and into this one?
Yes. And it's also on the screen, and you'll see the top 2 that were pulled out from each of the 5 strategic themes. So we have 10 total. Please select your top 3, and we'll see which ones rise to the top and determine what our priority goals are.
Can you scroll down a little so they can see all 10 on the
They can see them on their phone.
So what do we just pick 1 through,
Yeah, just pick 3.
Pick 3.
pick top 3? Okay. And it won't in any particular order?
Nope, any particular order, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. We're probably not tracking who's entering what, which is bad. What's that? We're probably not tracking who's entering what, like how they voted. We need that.
Is there any submit, or we just select 3?
Just select 3.
And that's it?
That's it.
It's difficult because the titles
I
don't
know,
really
yeah.
encompass what we just worked through in some regards, right? I would actually think some titles would,
And some
Feel
go
more
into,
important.
and some go into the other.
yes, exactly.
All right, I need you to shake
Get
and
some
scroll.
balance.
All right, so it looks like, oh, we don't have everybody's in yet. Not yet, because we have 14 and we need 5 times 3, 15.
You're good.
I used to be a math professor.
It shows.
Tracy and I have some things in common that we were both teachers.
You more mean or more average?
What was that?
I don't think she's mean at all.
Mean. Mm-hmm. Standard
See, I was defending you. I
deviation.
didn't think you were mean at all.
That's because I have a degree in electrical engineering, so I'm very scientific.
I've got 3 items.
Yeah, there's 15 checked.
Yep. So there was no submit button. You just picked
You-
them.
You got it,
15.
right. All right, so it looks like,
Just cleared it all over again.
no. Was it in the slide deck, PJ?
I think you accidentally hit clear.
No, it's still in there, I promise. See? All right. I have to be very careful with the scroll bar here. All right, so we do have we have A1, robust and adaptable, capable infrastructure systems. D1, economic growth through business development and year-round tourism. Are we able to switch that slide so they can see it too? Are they able to see that? You have the clicker? And then we have C1, transparent, responsive, and inclusive communication leadership, and E2, storm surge mitigation. So we definitely have those 4. Okay, tell me your thoughts.
For me, quite honestly, I think there should be a top 4, not a top 3, but
And that's fine, yeah.
because
Sorry, so what I have,
So
A1,
A1, D1, C1, E2.
what was number 1?
27%.
And-
Number
and the
1.
re-
Scroll.
The reason I say that is because number 9, do you want to say numbers, or do you want to say the E's and the D's and the, whichever way you want me to say it? So E1 and E2 to me goes into C4. Shoreline and coastal resilience and storm mitigation goes into emergency management services, or at least planning. So I think that's an important one to have there.
Yeah, and you can have 4.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
C1, so so just so I'm clear, I want to make sure I have it right. A1, D1, C1, and E2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, or however you want to, because those other ones are going to drop into that.
Yep.
So say those numbers again. A1, D1,
C1.
C1.
And E2.
Actually, I would say C4 because E1 and E2 should go into C4. At least that's the way I look at it, but
I kind of understand. I want to go back to this though, just to make sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I think if E1 and E2 were interchangeable, so to speak, and kind of sounded like that, I know there's a little bit of a nuance difference, but I'd take in E1, but I'd be fine with E2.
well, for me, the C4 that
Yeah.
should read emergency management planning and services, because then you
Yeah.
could encompass E1 and E2 into that C4 bucket. But I don't know if we can change, if we're too
Well-
far down the rabbit hole now to change.
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we're definitely not changing the,
I think C4 should be.
I think it's
You said what?
important, sorry, it's
What did you
important
keep
to,
it? 5?
yeah, we don't want to go more than 5 because that's all the reporting that the leadership team is going to have to make sure that they're prioritizing those. Although they would still report on the other ones, but just maybe more on a quarterly or annual basis.
Technically, based on this, you would have 4. Because you
Yeah.
have 2 that tied for number 1 and 2 that tied for number 3.
Number
But
number
there's
2.
being, there is an argument being made for C4 to be included as well by the mayor.
Well, what I'm hearing is that we're too far down to change anything, but I think staff understands what I'm saying. At least, to me, emergency management, that should have been planning and services, because that would have then encompassed shoreline and coastal resilience, storm surge mitigation. Because when you're going, I'm assuming when you're going through your emergent managing planning, you're looking at all of those buckets anyway. You're looking at shoreline, you're looking at wave wall mitigations, you're looking at funding, you're looking at canal dredging, you're looking at all of that to encompass into an emergency management plan, I would assume.
Yeah, I think this is more about response as opposed to forward planning,
Okay.
is the way I read that.
It's not that the others,
So
yeah,
what do they
Mr.
call it?
Mayor,
A
it's not that those
strategic
things you
planning.
just mentioned aren't included in an objective somewhere in this, but in each one of those goals, there are objectives underneath those. So that's where I'd say you can't, or I wouldn't recommend necessarily saying that two of these goals could be combined, because there
Yeah.
are different objectives underneath each of those goals. But a lot of the points that you brought up, Mayor, they're covered in many of those objectives, spread throughout these goals.
So prioritization,
Well, I
The-
think we were given the task 3 to 5, and we just hit top 4, which I'm good with. I
You're
think.
good with?
Yeah. Everybody else?
all
okay?
right, fantastic. Then the last wonderful news I have to share with you. So we've had 3 visual illustrations through the Community Focus Group 1, Community Focus Group 2, and Leadership Forum 1. This 4th visual illustration will be developed after the session as a gift to y'all from Collaborative Labs. We are going to create, this is an example, I just want the small one. This is just an example from another engagement. Yours will be landscape. But the 4, after speaking with Tracy, are going to be displayed on maybe, possibly on that wall there. So when community comes in, they can see the whole process of how the strategic plan was developed. It'll probably be like that. But it'll be full color, and we'll provide you the 4 when we do the presentation of the draft strategic plan on June 15th. Are y'all excited? Yeah? Nice color. All right, Jonathan, take it away. Hold on, let me give you. You're on.
Okay. And we'll have signed editions for this 1999 at the end of the show.
What if you buy 2?
Oh, well, two for 15. Won't do. That's all. Okay. Well, the fourth drawing in the installment here. We've got this this centerpiece basically visualizing that we're all in it together, kind of, that's that sense that we felt that whatever we come up with, whatever goals we have, we've got to do it with everyone in mind, resident, business, tourists, everyone has skin in the game. And so that's where we started. And also the whole idea of, some certain things we have to balance, the needs of our residents, needs of our businesses, the idea that we are serving, protecting individuals, but also our resources that we have here. And and we'll sort of clean up our goals and add a little color, and that's it.
Well done.
All right, so let's just talk about next steps. All right, so coming up, June 1st is when the draft final report review will be coming to you. Then we'll have the draft final report to council on the 15th. And in July, we already have our planning meeting set up to talk about the strategic implementation. Implementation phase 3 is when the strategic plan officially launches. So we are moving forward. The team has already started talking about how to collect these metrics, because as we were looking at the objectives, the main question is, how are you going to measure that you're making success? And they nailed it. So they started thinking about it. Some of that we may need to go back and tweak, which if they figure out, oh, that would be difficult to measure. We can't measure if they attend a session, but we can measure maybe if they found it valuable and do a survey. So there's different things in there that we can change and tweak, but they're moving forward, creating action items. So they're not waiting for me to come back in July. They're moving forward with action items, starting to collect those success metrics. They're going to identify action items for each objective, continue refining the timeframes, the champions for each goal and objective, finalize the report, presentation, and then we're going to determine the best process. So that includes, Mayor, what you were saying is, what if something changes with Homestead? What if we have a change that happens, or I'm not even going to say the H word. So that's where the strategic plan is flexible, livable, breathable. We change it, we modify it. If something occurs like that, maybe one of the implementation sessions, we take a look at the plan again to reprioritize if necessary. This is something that is evolving. It's not, okay, we only have these 4 and we're moving forward. That's not it. This plan is completely moving forward. All 18 goals, 44 objectives are moving forward. Success metrics are being collected, action items are being defined, and you'll get to hear the progress and see it on Achieve It. So, yes.
I have one question, and it goes back to the very first thing we talked about, the vision. I still think we need to have the re-emerging portion of it, because so much of our lives up until this point and going forward is re-emerging this town, rebuilding this town. And I think that has to be, part of our vision is how we rebuild this island, because we're in a place that most communities aren't. We're rebuilding. And I think that needs to be a core understanding, that, a core vision of ours is that everybody's in a different place. Either they're rebuilding, they're still fixing their home or still fixing their condo. We're trying to attract, new builds and new businesses to come in. So I think that re-emerging word is, and that's just me, but.
Okay.
I completely agree with you, Vice Mayor. I think that all these things, though, lead to that almost as an outcome. This is what we're going to be measuring Will and his team on. How effectively are they doing that based on what we hear? I think it's up to us as councilors, mayors, to go advocate for what we want our town to be, just like we did when we pulled everybody to look at the comprehensive plan. I think that's kind of our outward-facing role. Listen, bring back, tweak, but I'm not so sure how that works
Maybe they
for
thought
what
that, hey,
they're.
we don't want to, keep harping on this, that we're rebuilding, but I think it's part of who we are right now.
It is, it is.
We went to 2 ribbon cuttings this week.
I know.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
For me, I thought about that too when I first read it, Scott, but to me, reemerge is not, I think we've already emerged. I think we've already reemerged. I think now this vision is more about, I think we've proven that we've reemerged, to your point. Ribbon cuttings are happening,
Amazingly.
approvals have happened, houses are coming out. Now this vision is, where are we gonna take this new reemergence and continue it into the future? So that's why I wasn't hung up on the
Sure.
reemergence,
Yeah,
but I
I'm not-
agree.
look,
But when we
I'm not
discussed
hung
this
up on it.
originally, that was a big
Yeah.
focus, because we weren't quite to this point yet.
Yeah, I honestly feel that,
Yeah.
while I understand where we are, we have come so far. And if I were to add it, I would put a thriving eclectic coastal community or something like that, that is more
Aspirational,
Aspirational.
yeah, like the definition
That's a good point, because
says,
that
yeah.
is a vision, right?
That's where we're trying, that's where we're seeing our future, right? And so
Our
I
vision
think
is to be thriving, not reemerging, right?
Correct.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, noted,
Makes sense.
thriving,
Good,
yes.
I'm glad I brought it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, me
I-
too.
I
You're
see your
dead on,
point, I
yeah.
see your point, that's great, yeah, that's more of a vision. We are reemerging, but our vision is to be a thriving community, so.
And I think through that reemerging, we found that some of these things we prioritized were really important. How effectively do we communicate with our constituents? How, effectively is the software that supports us? All those little tasks kind of emerged. I'm wondering, has anyone, I'm sure you have, how does this fit in with our comprehensive plan? Because that is our vision that just recently we have all agreed that is our big vision. Did you see anything as you were going
It's-
through this that, diverged from that vision? just for the public's benefit.
Yeah, no, I would say no, and so I just think it's, and I've said this from the very beginning, the comprehensive plan is very different than the strategic
Right.
plan. The comp plan complements the strategic plan. There was no outliers, nothing was different than what we have seen in the data. The comp plan is part of the strategic plan. But again, the comp plan is focused on bricks and mortar and facade and
Right.
those types of things.
I agree. I just wanted to see
Yeah.
if you thought anything jumped out at you.
No.
Good, thank you.
And I believe it's in one of the objectives as well, like called out. It is, it's in C41.
Let's just look at that real quick.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time today. When we started this journey with you, we were going to the trailer, the portable, right? And everybody was just starting to rebuild. So you have reemerged. As PJ and I were driving onto the island, we're like, look how bustling it is. Look, everybody's walking and riding and jogging down the streets, and the houses are rebuilt, and it looks like people have moved back in. It's not totally there yet. I live near the Treasure Island Bridge. I get it. It takes a little bit of time, but you're definitely becoming thriving, more thriving than ever before. So really proud of y'all, and thank you for your time today and through the process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, John? Oh,
Do we need agenda?
oh, agenda man, oh, I forgot about that, yeah. Does anybody want to add anything to the agenda management?
I do.
Go ahead.
I realized that I spoke a little prematurely at the last council meeting. So the topic of how we evaluate public benefit, I would just like to move that into the,
So when you brought that up, you said another joint meeting with the LPA. Is that still part of your thought process, or is it just an open discussion with us?
I'm not sure. I'd
open
like to take what you all
I'm open
think,
to
you know,
anything.
if you think it would benefit the LPA to have them involved and get their take on it or not. I'm looking at how we evaluate, not items like you give us this, we'll give you 2 floors, but a discussion around how we evaluate, because every project is different, right?
To your question, Scott, yeah, we can do a joint M&P, joint council LPA like we did for the comp plan in the past, if that's so interested, all of you.
Yeah, well, if it's important to you or not, one way or the
Well, no,
other.
it's your.
Well, I
it's
would
your
like to have
idea,
them there. I
so
think it helps
just
everyone.
Let us know what you think, and we'll give you consent. So-
That's what I think. I would like to have council and LPA.
Okay. Anybody have any objection?
I'm a big fan of the LPA.
Yeah, I'm always willing to have the conversation, but I don't know what more we can discuss that we haven't discussed already through the implementation of the comp plan. I mean, we've laid out public benefit, but if you want to have another discussion, I don't understand. I guess I need to understand a little bit more about, and you've gotten enough people to get it put on the MMP for a joint discussion. I'm just trying to understand, so I understand what you're looking at. If you're not looking at doing a this for that or prioritizing 1, 2, 3, 4, what is it exactly you're trying to achieve?
So I'm looking for a way that we would evaluate, that we ask everyone to sit down and think about a public benefit, as well as to let developers who may want to purchase here or have, would we evaluate it? Because we cannot do if you give us this, we'll give you that, right? That is against our, that's quid pro quo. We can't do that. But we can say things like, these are just some ideas. We evaluate it on a handful of criteria. And given this particular project here, we would say, is it proportional to the ask? You're asking for this, is it proportional?
I understand where you're going.
Is it sustainable?
Okay.
Is it doable? Kind
Sure.
of like high-level
Sure.
stuff.
What does it mean? I get, yeah. All
Yeah.
right, we can have that. I'm totally fine with it. Anything else?
So that, right now, we're looking at the June M&P. We've got a review of the e-bike ordinance as requested by council. We've got the draft water and golf taxi ordinances. Those 2 are on the June M&P right now. If we don't do it in June, then we're looking at August or a special meeting.
You know, I think you guys have got a lot on your plate over the next 2 months. To me, it makes most sense to do it in August.
I don't think it's urgent.
There's a lot going on next month.
I don't think it's urgent, and it's not going to change anything right now, but I do think it's something we keep talking about, but
Does that work for your guys' schedule?
That works. We'll
Okay.
put it down.
John, anything else?
Nothing for me.
No one else?
I'm good.
Okay, now, John, take it away.
Move to adjourn.
Wow. All right, any objection? We're adjourned at 11:11.